All right, welcome to your final intensive review for the ISTQB Certified Tester in Generative AI exam. Our one and only goal today is to pull back the curtain on how this exam is built, so that when you walk into that testing center, there are absolutely no surprises. Look, knowing the syllabus is one thing, and it's super important, but it's only half the battle. The real secret to passing this exam is getting inside the examiner's head. We're going to learn to see the questions for what they truly are, tests of specific skills and knowledge. That's what we're going to master today.
So here's our game plan, what I like to call the examiner's playbook. First, we'll break down how questions are actually written. Then we'll do a deep dive into some official sample questions. After that, we'll zoom out to spot the patterns that show up again and again, cover 10 final must-remember rules, and wrap up with getting you into the right mindset for exam day.
Okay, let's start with the absolute fundamentals. Before we even look at a single question, we need to get the rules of the game straight. This whole section is about learning the language and the structure ISTQB uses to figure out what you really know.
You see a word like best or most, and your brain should light up. That's a huge signal from the examiner. It means you're probably looking at a few options that sound kind of right, but your job isn't just to find a correct answer. It's to find the most complete, the most accurate answer according to the syllabus. It's a test of your judgment, not just your memory.
So you're going to see two main types of questions on this exam. On one hand, you've got your definition-based questions. These are your K1 and K2 level questions. They're pretty straightforward. Do you remember this term? Or can you explain this concept? Then you've got the scenario-based questions. These are the K3 application questions. They'll drop you into a real-world problem and ask, okay, now what do? You got to be ready for both. And this all ties back to the cognitive levels of knowledge, or K levels. K1 is just remember. Can you recall a fact? K2 is understand. Can you explain what it means? But K3, that's apply. Can you actually use what you know in a practical situation? And guess what? Those K3 questions are worth more points for a reason. They really test if you can do the job. Knowing the K level helps you figure out how much brain power and time to give a question.
And now for the main event. We're going to take everything we just learned about the examiner's mindset and apply it. We're going to deconstruct official sample questions piece by piece until the logic is crystal clear. Welcome to the masterclass.
Let's start with a classic. Question 19. Which of the following best defines hallucinations in the context of LLMs? Go ahead, read the options. This is a perfect example of a definition question.
So where does this come from? Let's map it. This is straight out of Syllabus section GenAI 3.1.1. It's a K1 level question, worth 1 point. Pure and simple recall.
Okay, let's tear this apart. Option A, that's not a hallucination, that's a reasoning error. Option B, that describes AI bias. Option D is just a specific, and pretty nasty, type of bias. That leaves us with C, outputs that are factually incorrect or irrelevant. That is the textbook syllabus definition of a hallucination. You absolutely have to know the difference between these three terms: hallucination, reasoning error, and bias. They will test you on it.
Okay, ready to level up? Let's look at a more complex one. Question 12. This is a scenario. And notice that keyword again, best. It's asking for the best sequence of activities. This isn't just about what you can do, it's about the right order to do it in. This is testing your understanding of process.
And if we map this one, it comes from GenAI 2.2.1, which is all about how to apply generative AI to test analysis tasks. See that verb, apply? That's your big clue that this is a K3 question, and that's why it's worth 2 points.
So how do we break this down? Well, what's the most logical first step? You have to generate something to work with, right? So that's activity I. What's the absolute non-negotiable next step in any GenAI process? Human oversight. You have to review and refine, that's activity II. And asking for a confidence score, activity I3, that's a pretty smart quality check to perform. So the sequence of I, and I3 makes for the most complete and robust process. The other activities aren't wrong, but option A gives you the most solid, fundamental workflow.
Let's tackle one more, question 34. This one's about a huge risk topic you need to know inside and out. Which of the following is the most likely consequence of shadow AI in a test organization? And there's our friend again, most likely. Where is this from? It maps directly to GenAI 5.1.1. Recall the risks of shadow AI.
It's a K1 question, just 1 point, but it's testing whether you remember the specific dangers the syllabus warns you about.
This question is all about risk priority. While things like security are concerned, the syllabus makes a big deal about something else. When people use unapproved tools with murky licensing, that's shadow AI. The biggest, scariest risk is intellectual property disputes. You could be feeding company secrets into a public model. The other options are just wrong. Shadow AI blows up your security and compliance costs, so the answer here is clearly C.
Okay, we've been looking at individual trees. Now let's zoom out and look at the whole forest. Once you start to see the recurring themes and patterns across the entire exam, you'll know exactly where to focus your last few hours of study. This is the metagame. 3 topics just keep coming up in the sample exams. First, prompt engineering from Chapter 2. Expect to see K3 questions where you have to apply techniques. Second, risk management from Chapter 3. You need to be an expert at identifying and mitigating risks. And third, GenAI strategy from Chapter 5. Think governance, roadmaps, and the dangers of shadow AI. These are the exam's hotspots. Nail these, and you're in great shape.
Here's the first golden rule of the examiner's mindset. If you're looking at 4 options and one of them involves a human reviewing, refining, or making the final decision, that answer has a very, very high chance of being correct. The syllabus hammers home the idea of human in the loop as the ultimate safety net.
Golden rule number 2. This exam cares way more about strategy and process than it does about the nitty-gritty technical details. They want to know you can create a roadmap, establish guidelines, and manage risk. Think like a test manager or a strategist, not a data scientist.
And the third golden rule, when you're faced with a scenario, put on your risk management hat immediately. The best answer is almost always the one that best identifies and deals with a relevant risk. Is the scenario about personal information? The answer is probably about data privacy. Is it about a critical system? The answer is probably about mitigating hallucinations. Always think risk first.
We have covered a ton of ground, so let's distill it all down. Here are your final 10 commandments. If you're cramming, or if you just want the absolute most critical takeaways, this is your high-impact summary.
Let's run through these. 1. Know the exact definitions for hallucination, reasoning error, and bias. 2. The human is always in the loop. It's essential. 3. Remember, as testers, we mitigate risks. We can't completely prevent them. 4. Shadow AI is all about security, compliance, and IP risks. 5. If an answer talks about governance and strategy, give it a serious look. 6. Know your K levels. Are you being asked to remember or to apply? 7. Data privacy is a huge deal. Know how to protect it. 8. Be able to tell the difference between prompting techniques like zero shot and few shot. 9. A test oracle problem simply means it's hard to know what the right answer should be. And finally, number 10. Read the entire question and all the options. Those little qualifier words are everything.
Okay, we've reached our final section. Let's talk about game day. You've done the hard work, you've studied, and now it's all about execution. Having the right strategy and the right mindset in the exam room can make all the difference.
Here's your tactical battle plan. First, always use the process of elimination. If you can confidently rule out 2 answers, your odds on a guess go from 25% to 50%, huge difference. Second, watch that clock. Zip through the K1 and K2 questions so you have more time for the heavier 2-point K3 scenarios. Third, do not get stuck. If a question is stumping you, flag it and come back. Don't let one question sink your exam. Fourth, trust your gut. Your initial instinct, after a careful read, is often the right one. And finally, and this is critical, there is no negative marking, answer every single question.
And that's it. You have put in the work. You've studied the syllabus. And now you understand the playbook. You know how these questions are built, what they're trying to test, and how to beat them. Walk into that exam room with confidence. You've earned it. You're ready. Now go execute.